So Ms. Fulton has already gone through how you're going to be uploading all of your information for your FRQs. This last part is I'm going to show you some examples of some writing samples that were already done on the same FRQ that she did with you guys and how they were scored and why they were scored that way. So there's your rubric. Okay, so the first one is scored as an expert. So I just want to show you everything that they wrote so far. They have 2 pages that they go really into depth on how and why they solved it that way. And then they also have 2 models. It's really, they redrew their model several times to make sure that they're checking their work and that it makes sense. And then this is their final model, and it makes even more sense because they went further into depth and showed how many pieces are in each fraction. And they even gave you a key that each square represents 12 tickets. So let me go back here. So their writing sample, it explains the approach that they took to solving this specific problem and the reason why they took that. They used math vocabulary throughout. I underlined a few of the vocabulary words that I saw, and there was equations used. I even circled some equations that I saw. Now, the one thing that really makes this paper scored at an expert level would be that they really did make a connection and they extended this problem. They took the scenario and then they said, well, what if tickets would have cost $5 and then the theater would have lost a lot of money, right? And then they did the math for it. That was not something that was necessary. They went ahead and did that, and that extended this problem, which made this student get scored at an expert, especially if they're doing it correct. Okay, so if we go to the practitioner, you see how much the practitioner writes too. They give an explanation on how they went ahead and solved the problem. They used math vocabulary in their explanations. The model that they used is correct. They have the appropriate solution. The only thing that this person could have probably done better is to make it have a connection to maybe something that they learned in class or something even outside of class. Even provide an equation. So there's no equation for their work here. That's something else that could have been added to improve it. And then even provide an extension, like the other person where they took it a little bit beyond what the problem was asking for them to do. Okay, now the apprentice, the process that they used was clear. It's understandable. The model is drawn. They didn't get a correct answer, but if they would have spent a little bit more time on it, they would have found out that they were really close to actually solving this problem, but they just didn't catch their mistake. So even though they didn't get scored at a novice, they were almost there. But if they would have spent a little bit more time checking their work, they would have caught an error. And then making some type of connection to the real world. So I remember talking about this concept in math class. This is the activity that we did. Then the last one would be novice. So this is the only person that this one student did. They did a huge model. And then that's the small amount of writing that they did in the end. So yes, they drew a model, and the model was correct. But the solution that they came up with was wrong. If they would have spent more time in solving it and really trying to problem solve how many were in each piece, they would have been able to catch that mistake and correct their work and get this correct. If they would have put more thought into their explanation on their problem solving and making some type of connection to the real world. Even vocabulary, incorporating some math vocabulary, even basics, just multiplying, add, subtract, divide. Fractions, because you guys were seeing fractions in here. So hopefully this helps for you to see what's expected. Remember, your goal is just to improve. the first one that you guys are going to do is going to be the practice. And then that's where we're going to address anything that we can approve upon. And then you guys will have a graded one that will be sent to the district.